The studio lights hummed like a promise of easy chatter, but today, they cast shadows that hinted at unspoken battles. What if the world's most charismatic star finally cracked under the glare? The set of The View buzzed with morning energy, a colorful chaos of oversized mugs steaming with coffee, vibrant backdrops splashed in reds and blues, and the faint whir of cameras gliding into position. Technicians adjusted mics with practiced haste, their footsteps muffled on the carpeted floor. The audience, a mix of eager fans and curious tourists, settled into their seats, whispering excitedly as the theme music swelled. Joy Behar, perched at the central podium, flipped through her notes with a sly grin, her eyes sharp behind her glasses. This wasn't just another segment, it was primed for sparks. Tom Cruise entered from stage left, his stride confident yet measured, dressed in a crisp navy suit that hugged his athletic frame, a subtle nod to his action hero roots. But there was a tightness in his jaw, a flicker in his smile that didn't quite reach his eyes, almost like he was stepping onto a battlefield disguised as a talk show. He shook hands with the panel, his grip firm, and took his seat opposite Joy, crossing his legs with casual grace. The audience erupted in applause, but Tom merely nodded, his expression polite yet distant. Joy leaned forward, her voice warm and inviting. "Tom, it's always a thrill to have you here. With your new film breaking records, how does it feel to be back in the spotlight after all these years?" Tom chuckled softly, leaning back. "Joy, the spotlight's never really off, is it? But I'm grateful. It's about the stories we tell, not the glare." His tone was smooth, philosophical, but there was an edge, like a warning wrapped in charm. But he didn't know that Joy's next question would pierce deeper than any stunt. Joy's eyes twinkled with mischief as she glanced at her cards. "Speaking of stories, Tom, your life off-screen has been quite the epic. From blockbuster marriages to that infamous couch-jumping moment, how do you balance the personal with the public these days?" The audience murmured appreciatively, a few chuckles rippling through. Tom's smile held, but his fingers tapped lightly on his knee. "Balance is key, Joy. I've learned to protect what's mine, family, privacy. The public gets the films, the rest is off-limits." He paused, his gaze steady, injecting a hint of steel into his words. The question hung there, and Joy nodded, playing along. "Fair enough. But fans are curious, your kids with Katie, how do they handle Dad being, well, Tom Cruise?" A light laugh from the crowd, but Tom's expression shifted subtly, his eyes narrowing just a fraction. "They're amazing kids, Joy. Resilient. But let's not drag them into this. They're not props for ratings." His voice remained even, but the philosophical note turned sharper, a subtle jab at the show's hunger for drama. And just like that, the air thickened. What would Joy push next? Shifting gears smoothly, Joy tilted her head. "Okay, no kids. Let's talk philanthropy then. You've poured millions into causes, Scientology, education. Is it genuine giving or does it come with strings?" The panel exchanged glances, and a producer offstage adjusted his headset, brows furrowed. Tom leaned in, his charisma undimmed. "It's genuine, always. Giving back isn't about strings, it's about impact. But I sense you're implying something else?" A nervous laugh escaped him, more reflex than humor. The audience shifted, sensing the undercurrent. Joy pressed on, her wit turning provocative. "Implying? Nah, just asking. With all that wealth from Mission Impossible sequels, some say it's tax write-offs disguised as goodwill. What do you say to the skeptics?" Tom's hand gestured expansively, but his tone cooled. "Skeptics will always talk, Joy. I've built schools, helped communities. If that's a write-off, then sign me up for more." Applause scattered through the crowd, but a few whispers followed, doubt mixing with admiration. A producer signaled from the wings, mouthing, "Ease up," but Joy ignored it, her sarcasm bubbling. "Touchy subject? Come on, Tom, you're the king of comebacks. Or is this one mission too impossible?" The audience held its breath. Would Tom fire back, or deflect again? Tom's eyes flashed, but he composed himself with a deep breath. "Not touchy, just irrelevant. Let's talk the movie, Action scenes that push limits, stories that inspire. He tried steering back, but Joy wasn't biting. Oh, we'll get there. But first, politics. You've been vocal on mental health, criticizing psychiatry. With everything going on in the world, elections, crises, does that stance hold up? The question landed like a gauntlet, and the audience leaned forward, a collective gasp echoing softly. Murmur rising. Joy, mental health is crucial, but my views are based on experience. Not everyone agrees, and that's fine. But twisting it for clicks? That's low. Tom's voice rose slightly, his philosophical edge sharpening into irritation, his fist clenching briefly on the armrest. The panel stirred, one co-host interjecting lightly, but Joy waved it off. Low? This is the view, we view it all. And viewers want the real Tom, not the polished PR version. Applause mixed with boos now, the audience splitting like a Greek chorus divided. A producer paced frantically off camera, gesturing wildly. The lights seemed brighter, hotter, amplifying the tension. Tom's smirk returned, but it was strained. Real me? You've got him. But respect goes both ways. Nobody expected the next words to ignite the fuse. Emboldened, Joy leaned closer. Respect? Like the respect you showed Brooke Shields back in the day, calling her out on postpartum? Times change, Tom, have you? The jab was sharp, her voice dripping with provocation. Camera, close up on Tom's face, jaw tightening. The studio fell into a hush, then erupted in a wave of reactions, gasps, scattered claps, a lone boo from the back. Tom's eyes locked on hers, his charismatic facade cracking. That was years ago, Joy. I've grown. But dredging up old dirt? That's not journalism, that's desperation. His tone was low, controlled fury bubbling beneath. Producers hovered closer to the stage, one whispering urgently into a headset. The audience was electric now, phones subtly raised despite rules. Joy, unfazed, shot back. Desperation? Says the man who jumps on couches for attention. We're just keeping it real here. Tom's nervous laugh turned bitter. Real? This is a circus, and you're the ringmaster. Fine, let's play. He uncrossed his legs, leaning forward aggressively. But the pause that followed said more than words ever could. The exchange hung heavy, the set's vibrant colors now feeling oppressive under the glaring lights. Joy flipped another card, her grin unwavering. All right, circus it is. Your latest marriage rumors, care to set the record straight, or is that another off-limits zone? Tom's hand rose in a halting gesture, his voice steady but laced with warning. Off-limits, Joy. My personal life isn't fodder for your ratings spike. Murmurs grew louder, the audience's barometer tipping toward unease. Undeterred, Joy pushed. Fodder? Fans invest in you, Tom. They deserve transparency. Or is transparency only for your scripts? Audience gasp, building tension. A producer stepped into view briefly, shaking his head vigorously, but the momentum was unstoppable. Tom's face flushed slightly, his philosophical calm eroding. Deserve? They deserve great films, not my laundry. This interview's turning toxic. The crowd reacted, half applauding his stand, half urging Joy on. The air crackled, every eye glued to the unfolding drama. And then, the gesture that signaled the end was near. In the escalating heat, Joy's sarcasm peaked. Toxic? Like some of the sets you've been on, with those infamous rants? Come clean, Tom, what's the real story behind the outbursts? The question sliced through, personal and pointed. Tom stood abruptly, his chair scraping back with a sharp screech. Chair scrape. Enough. I came here to talk art, not endure this ambush. He reached for his mic, fingers trembling slightly with restrained anger. The audience froze, a collective intake of breath. Producers rushed forward, but too late. Joy's eyes widened, her provocative mask slipping for a split second. Tom, wait! But he yanked the mic off, tossing it onto the seat. I'm done being your spectacle. He turned toward the exit, strides purposeful, leaving the set in stunned silence. Cliffhanger action. Would he really walk out, or turn back for one final blow? The studio erupted into chaos the moment Tom's footsteps echoed offstage, the audience's stunned silence shattering into a cacophony of gasps, whispers, and scattered applause. Joy sat frozen for a beat, her microphone still live, as producers swarmed the set like ants on spilled sugar. Hurried footsteps, muffled shouts. One yanked at his earpiece, barking orders into it. "Cut to commercial! Now!" The lights dimmed slightly, but the energy lingered, thick and electric, as if the air itself had been scorched. Backstage, the green room buzzed with frantic activity, assistants typing furiously on phones, publicists pacing. Tom stormed in, his suit jacket flung over a chair, face flushed with a mix of adrenaline and regret. "That was bullshit," he muttered to his handler, who nodded vigorously while dialing his agent. Outside, the audience filed out, buzzing. "Did you see that? He just walked." Phones lit up, tweets firing off like fireworks. #TomWalksOut trending within minutes, clips of the mic toss going viral. Headlines exploded across screens. "Tom Cruise storms off the View after fiery clash with Joy Behar." TMZ splashed it first, followed by Variety and CNN. Comments flooded in. "Joy went too far, respect privacy," versus "Tom's too sensitive, it's just questions." Social media became a battlefield, fans defending Tom's dignity, critics hailing Joy's boldness. Producers huddled in a corner office, damage control in full swing. "Ratings gold," one whispered. "But lawsuits? Possible." Joy emerged from the set, makeup slightly smudged, waving off a concerned co-host. "I'm fine. It happens." In the hallway, fate, or bad timing, collided them again. Tom, grabbing a water bottle, nearly bumped into Joy as she headed to her dressing room. No cameras, no audience, just two icons in a fluorescent-lit corridor. "Tom," she started, voice softer now, stripped of on-air edge. He paused, bottle mid-sip, eyes wary. But in this unscripted moment, would words heal or wound deeper? "You didn't have to push like that," Tom said, his tone measured, philosophical undertones returning like a shield. "I came to promote, not get dissected." Joy crossed her arms, her wit tempered by genuine curiosity. "And I was doing my job, asking what people want to know. You're public property in this game, Tom. Or did you forget?" The exchange hung there, raw and real. A producer peeked out, sensing the tension, but retreated when Joy shot him a glare. Tom leaned against the wall, his charisma dimmed to something more human. "Public? Sure. But family, past mistakes, that's mine. You crossed a line for spectacle." Joy nodded slowly, her provocative spark flickering. "Maybe. But lines blur on TV. It's the price of fame, right? We both pay it." They stood in uneasy silence, the hallway's hum of distant chatter underscoring the standoff. Tom's handler appeared at the end, gesturing urgently, but Tom waved him off. "Look, Joy, I've faced tougher stunts. But respect? That's non-negotiable." She chuckled wryly. "Touché. But without pushback, it's just fluff. Viewers crave real." As they parted, Tom to his limo, Joy to debrief, the encounter lingered, a private epilogue to the public storm. No apologies, but a mutual nod, like warriors acknowledging the battle. Yet the fallout was just beginning. How would the world react beyond the studio walls? Outside the studio, the ripples spread like wildfire. In a Los Angeles cafe, Tom's longtime friend and co-star glanced at his phone, the clip autoplaying. "Classic Tom, stands his ground," he texted back to a group chat of industry insiders. Fans rallied on Instagram, posting montages of Tom's philanthropic work. "He's more than headlines!" #Team Tom. Opponents, however, piled on Reddit threads. "Ego much? Can't handle tough questions." Joy slayed. Joy's circle buzzed too. At a New York diner that evening, her co-hosts gathered over coffee, dissecting the drama. "You were fierce," one said. "But was it worth the backlash?" Joy stirred her mug thoughtfully, her dopeness intact. "Always." Journalism's about truth, not tiptoeing. Texts from supporters flooded her. You called out the hypocrisy, Queen! But detractors tweeted venom. Joy Behar bullies guest off show. Cancel her. The conflict deepened online, forums debating freedom of speech versus personal boundaries. A viral TikTok analyzed the exchange frame by frame. See his jaw clench? That's when it broke. Tom's publicist issued a statement. Mr. Cruz appreciates open dialogue but prioritizes respect. Joy retweeted fan support with a sassy emoji. Her reputation as provocateur solidified, but at what cost? Ratings soared, sponsors called, yet whispers of network scrutiny grew. In a quiet moment at home, Tom scrolled through comments, his face illuminated by the screen. A flare of anger resurfaced. They twist everything. He called his ex-publicist for advice, the conversation turning heated. You walked, iconic but risky. Plays into the intense narrative. Tom sighed, philosophical again. Better intense than fake. Joy, unwinding with wine, fielded a call from a journalist friend. Bold move, but boundaries matter, the friend cautioned. Joy laughed sharply. Boundaries? In media? That's the illusion. Tension ebbed as she reflected, but a sharp email from execs reignited it. Great buzz, but tone it down next time. As reactions poured in, one unexpected voice would shift the narrative. The next day, a surprise twist, Brooke Shields herself tweeted. Water under the bridge, Tom. We all grow. Joy, keep asking the hard ones. It humanized the mess, likes pouring in. Fans from both sides found common ground. Respect all around. But opponents doubled down in comment sections, accusing manipulation. In Washington, a political pundit on cable news used it as fodder. This is journalism today, ambush or accountability? Viewers called in, divided. Tom's agent fielded offers for tell-alls, while Joy's book sales spiked. The fallout simmered, sharp flares in podcasts. Tom's dignity versus Joy's duty. Who wins? Gradually, the storm quieted. Tom hit the gym, channeling energy into his next script, lessons on privacy etched deeper. Joy prepped for tomorrow's show, her edge honed but wiser. No winners, just survivors in the spectacle game. But could they find closure, or would the divide linger? Back in touch indirectly, through mutual contacts, Tom and Joy exchanged brief emails days later. No hard feelings, he wrote, attaching a philosophical quote on respect. Ditto, she replied, adding a witty jab. Next time, bring stunt doubles. It wasn't full reconciliation, but a truce, each grasping the lesson differently. Tom on guarding dignity under fire, Joy on the razor edge of provocation and ethics. The incident faded from headlines, but its echo persisted, a reminder of fame's double blade. In the end, the price of spectacle was paid in bruised egos and boosted views, leaving questions of right and wrong in the audience's court. Epilogue. As the dust settled, Tom returned to sets where action was scripted, Joy to panels where words were weapons. Dignity held, respect earned, but at what cost? In the glare of public eyes, who truly won, the one who walked away, or the one who stayed to face the music? Who was right? Tell us below.